Hello and welcome back to Raging Loop. Without its owner, the dining hall had become an extremely empty place. It felt like its soul had left this world, or like its mind was elsewhere. It was noon, yet no one had eaten anything yet. I volunteered to make something, but Kinosuke said that they couldn't trust me yet, so I refrained. The one who picked up the responsibility was Hashimoto. He could cook, too? As it turned out, not really. He'd just made some plain vegetables boiled with some basic seasonings. It wasn't anything delicious. He wasn't perfect. He was simply a human who was a bit more fearsome than the rest. We couldn't leave the dining hall for the whole day. Yoshitsugu wanted to be alone, but the poor guy wasn't even granted that. With the state he was in, everyone was worried that he would pull something, so they didn't make an exception even for him. How can a doting mother like that kill her own son? She said that when he went to the bathroom. It was an extremely normal question from a normal person. If Jimmy was alive, she'd have probably said something like, "No one can resist God." I could now vaguely understand those words. The thing binding the people of Yasumizu, the thing lying dormant within Haru. It felt like it was closer than ever, just beyond the mist. Of course, no one answered Mamiya's question. There was something I wanted to ask Mochi. It wasn't something I could ask in public, though, and I didn't get a chance to have a secret chat with him. There are still people who are wary of you, so I will testify that you went back home and stayed there. When it was time to call it a day, he put some pressure on me. You're the one who's wary of me. Maybe. Who knows? How great would it be if all my worries were baseless? I agreed with him on that. He was right about a lot of things. However, he couldn't leverage it well. And this was despite his persuasiveness and connections. Why'd he lose? One of the reasons was underestimating the madness controlling Yasumizu and the unity the wolves shared. And another reason was my ability to cheat, death looping. Looking back at it, I'd made it this far despite failing to kill Yasunaga once. I couldn't have cleared this game in one go if I didn't have the ability to use trial and error. Even so, the end was near. Dusk. We're killing Yudai Hashimoto. We found the opportunity to kill him, and we took it. The process was the same as always. We used the nearby farming tools to cut, stab, and crush him thoroughly. I wanted a more effective method, honestly. That was probably why Yasunaga killed Takumi with a gun the first time around. However, I didn't want the method to give me away, and I wanted to prevent any dying messages like the one Chiemi had falsified in that previous loop. Making an absolute mess of the bodies seemed like the most reasonable method. Was that thought born of madness? Of course it was. It was pure insanity. I ran circles in my mind to try and keep it stable enough to make at least somewhat rational decisions. Tearing apart the mountain of flesh was extremely hard work. Once done with it, Haru and I went back. Our discussion for what we'd do tomorrow was simple. Yoshitsugu would use his crow powers to prove that Kaori was a wolf. That would prove that I was the real snake. We'd hang a random somebody tomorrow and use the night to finally get rid of the crow. The day after tomorrow, there would be 6 people left. With the badger on our side, we'd have 3 votes. Are we sure the badger is on our side? Is Mako really the badger? Most likely. Though I'm not sure if she'd actually betray the humans if we revealed that we're the wolves. That's a tongue breaker. Why is she so antagonistic toward me? She's a maiden. Huh? Nothing. Well, I think it'll be alright. But to be sure, we should depend on something more reliable. Yeah, exactly. We should kill Rikaku Uematsu or Kyonosuke Nosoto and use the night to... kill Mochi, right? You okay? I'm used to it. Oh yeah, I changed. I'm actually used to killing now. I wonder if I'll be able to live a normal life after this. You can atone for your sins or whatever. You're still underage. Will you be facing capital punishment? I don't know. Though I doubt they'd think it was involuntary manslaughter. Then let's run away. We talked about that yesterday, right? The sin is the same either way. Is it now? We'll meet again, no matter what, right? Sorry, let me rephrase that. I'll be with you no matter what. She was making less and less sense to me. Don't say that you've fallen for me. It's uncool. Don't worry, I won't. It's uncool. Huh? Wow. I'd set her on a path of evil. Scolding her for something now was extremely uncool. I won't say it if it'll bother you. Hey, you should just do what you want. That's one of the perks of being evil. Then I'll just do what I want. Good. How about a kiss? As long as she doesn't show up. Surprisingly formal, are we? And there went your chance. You're so stingy. We parted ways. It was all smooth sailing from here. Yudai Hashimoto was dead, and Kaori, the most problematic wolf, ended up leaving the stage in the best of ways. All that was left were some throwaway feasts. I thought we were on a roll, and soon discovered how naive I was. It did seem a bit naive to me. Like this, I wouldn't call them throwaway feasts. Hashimoto. Strangely enough, Mamiya didn't lose her composure upon seeing the pile of gore Hashimoto was reduced to. She stood frozen in place, and her voice was shaking, but that was it. The image of a woman trying to bear the shock and pain was both beautiful and moving. It seemed disingenuous to say that, considering I was the one responsible for her suffering, but I couldn't help how I felt. However, what she did next sent a chill down my spine. She ignored Hashimoto's body and walked over to a shirt Hashimoto had left lying in the corner of the hut. She moved the shirt to the side, exposing a camera. Were we recorded? Had he planned this with Mamiya ahead of time? I hadn't taken any precautions against that. While dismantling the body, we'd even talked to each other. She skillfully manipulated the camera. Did I have to destroy it now? No, I'd have no excuses for that. The charade would be over. Maybe we could try going wild like we, Chiyomi, and Mochi did. I think the we is superfluous there. But also, this situation is completely irrelevant, I think, in the grand scheme of things. Because the fact is, even if they were discovered here, they literally just have to do the exact same thing again the next loop around and destroy the camera. Like, that's a very, very easy solve for that sort of wrench thrown in there. What was the point of that? I had to survive. If I went wild by myself, Haru would... Again, what would be the point of that? She was just a girl you'd find anywhere. She got into a different situation, accepted a difficult reality, and learned from it just like anyone would. Even though it was hardly a normal form of growth, it was charming and beautiful to us men. That much was obvious, but was it worth protecting with my own life? That question had to be answered with a no. However, I turned around and looked at Haru, standing at the end of the group. She had a knife in her hand. I slightly shook my head. After a moment of hesitation, she returned it back to the murder scene. It was a foldable knife, covered in blood, belonging to Hashimoto. I'd picked it up and used it when we were dismantling the body. No. That didn't mean anything to us. If I hadn't turned around, Haru would have surely went wild on her own. She was obviously going to protect me like that, even if it meant getting herself hanged. Oh man. I really liked that, but I'd finally found the theoretical justification for scolding her properly. Up until this point, I'd still thought it important to consider what I'd do with her after the feast was over. I'd felt responsible for promoting her growth and making sure the evil girl blossomed properly. In the end, though, the emergency before us was no emergency at all. No good. A fixed camera? That's pretty bold. What did it show? Nothing, just a body. She threw the camera to me. I checked, and apparently it was a 2-hour-long record starting at 9 in the evening. The wolves' work started at 10. Hashimoto was as sharp as always. He even got the time right. I played the footage back, and like she'd said, it just showed a body. It was supposed to show him alive at the start, then show us in wolf outfits come at about 10 and start committing the murder. However, the video only showed a mountain of flesh and bone, lit up by the electric light. Was the time within which the wolves worked cut off from the rest of the world? Control through sleep, transformation through the real story, mist, corruption, death loops, and digital video problems. Was all of this connected to God? In this timeline, I'd gained a bunch of important info that had brought me closer to the truth. That gave me a bad feeling, though. What if the truth and the subject of fear were one and the same? What if I never reached the truth? A limitless mystery meant limitless fear. Mom was a wolf. Everyone reacted with relief or surprise. Yoshitsugu and I had reached the same conclusion. He seemed like the real thing, and it was hard to believe both of us were wolves. That meant that I told the truth, making me the real snake. Found another wolf today. It's Kyonosuke Nosato. Thus, my lies would work.
What? That can't be. I am human. I see how it is, Haruaki Fusashi. You were a wolf all along.
And that was why his overreaction seemed like the pathetic struggling of a wolf. All that was left for me to do was lie until the end. I'm not lying. Yeah, he said the truth.
I see. So you got rid of one of the wolves just so you could survive. Rikako, you're no wolf, are you?
No, I am not.
Miss Mamiya, you...
Well... They both looked at each other with suspicion. There were only 2 wolves left, Kyonosuke and someone besides themselves.
Well, I understand your suspicions. There's only 6 people left, 2 are wolves and 1 is the badger. It won't end until all the wolves are hanged. The choices are hard to make, and all we have to rely on are the snake's messages. Also, the one who died last night was Hashimoto, who was antagonistic toward Fusashi last night.
We weren't what I'd call enemies. His suspicions had a reasonable basis. In the end, even he voted for Kaori yesterday.
Probably decided that she was a danger who had to be removed from the feast as soon as possible. He said I should be wary of you until the very end. It's entirely possible that you'd ordered Kaori to do something self-destructive.
Mamiya, I thought you were with me and Hashimoto on the opinion that people aren't driven mad so easily.
I've seen more than enough counter-arguments for that here, and it's possible that you were like that from the start. You could be insane enough to order her to do that like it was nothing, and she could have been insane enough to comply. And if that's true, we're being played like fiddles.
I've had enough. I've had enough of being suspected no matter what I do.
Of course you would be. You're a fake snake.
And you're a fake human. We're the same. No one trusts either of us. We're unpopular outcasts.
Oh, who will win this one? Shikamochi, you little. I'll believe Fusashi. He even said that I'm human. Really? My intuition tells me that Hasan's pretty shady. Miss Mamiya, can I assume you don't believe him?
She was conflicted, obviously.
Rikako, you...
I find it hard to believe that a wolf got rid of a wolf.
But from my perspective, that's exactly what happened.
The wolves are 2 mates and a child. There must be a strong bond between them. While we fear the mist, respect the feast, and find it acceptable to hang others for Yasumizu, the wolves would most likely help and protect one another.
That may have been the original intent.
Then maybe that was Kaori's self-sacrifice for the other wolves?
Like hell. She was made into a wolf, forced to kill Aniki, and went insane. That's it. She wasn't thinking any evil shit.
That was probably how I'd have been if I were a local. Perhaps Kaori might have been thinking something like that too. She died because of a bargain, her giving up on life, and my sinister plotting. If Rikako was right and there was some sort of bond between the wolves, it didn't apply to us outsiders. Chimi had proven that last time, when she'd cruelly used an outsider wolf as a sacrifice. Anyway, now that I had Rikako's and Yoshitsugu's vote, I couldn't lose now. I had no idea what Mochi would do, but he could easily vote as we wanted him to, despite knowing it was a mistake. There was no need to worry. Mako, who are you voting for?
Mister, are you a wolf?
I'm saying I'm not.
You're human.
I'm a monkey. That means I'm human.
I'm human as well. Mr. Yuki.
I am a human. If you want to be friends with the wolves, then I can't be friends with you.
Mako, please, wake up.
I hate you.
Mako was actually kinda manageable. We continued to argue for a while, but no one provided anything decisive. Noon came and everyone became even hungrier and exhausted. Even so, no one said that we should vote because it was clear to us all that the results would be inconclusive. If it continued like this, no one would be hanged, human or wolf. That would mean their defeat. But anyone who suggested that we not vote would be considered a wolf. Thus, the only one who suggested we end it was Mako, but only because she was hungry. Time passed by and we didn't get anywhere.
I'm hungry. How many times are you going to say that, Brad?
We do not have much time. We must clean up as well. If we do not end it fast, it will be bad for us. You want the humans to lose, just like that? The same will happen if we hang.
Mamiya, please, you just have to believe me.
What am I supposed to do here?
I'm getting tired here. Why aren't we voting yet anyway? If you don't know, shut up. I don't expect anything from you. Hasan, why aren't we voting?
Because the amount of people who'd vote for me and those who'd vote for him is the same.
So Yoshi, Haru, Richan, and Hasan would vote for Uncle. I see. Why didn't anyone tell me that it would all be over if I just voted for him too?
No, wait. That would lead to the humans' defeat.
If we're gonna lose, let's just get it over with. Who cares if the wolves win?
Kamoshida, that is not something the monkey should say.
Whatever, I'm an eccentric. You're just like him.
Huh? Kinosuke's quiet, sad voice drew everyone's attention, not just Mochi's.
You're just like the head of the family from 3 generations ago. Your great-great-grandfather.
What do you mean?
The Nosato family is third in terms of importance. The Miguruma are first, the Higuchi are second, and our standing in wealth doesn't even compare to theirs. With the recent advances in medicine, herbalism, and our family trade grew useless over the years. However, we continued to survive as a head family because we focused on study and research, following the mentality of the crow.
Mentality of the crow?
Devour the claws and steal the skills. Devour the eyes and steal the writings. Devour the tongue and steal the words. Offering those up to Fushiyoshi shall be as the will of the crow. Uncle, Daddy said that mentality is a new word, so it's actually wrong.
Do not bother me with that. Anyway, it means that we must contribute to our homeland through learning, even if it means preying on the dead and stealing knowledge.
Fujiyoshi?
Is that the old name for Fujiyoshi?
That's why I was so confused. I was like, that's not what it usually says.
How's that related?
Sorry. You survived by learning Western medicine, engineering, and technology before the other families. Most excellent. How unlike the Uematsu.
You have my sympathies for growing up with nothing but the burden of tradition. Now, we survived through our dedication to learning, but there was a moment when the entire structure almost fell apart. That was the time of the head of the family from 3 generations ago. He was insane, but at the same time an unparalleled genius. He amassed incredibly Jesus. He amassed incredible wealth by leaving the village and investing in businesses and markets no normal person could understand. Even the war was a business opportunity for him. But soon after that, he threw away all contracts and deeds and shut himself in his mansion in Yasumizu. While the main house was in severe financial distress, he spent the rest of the days here, using his power as a village head to perform inhumane things. As far as I know, he killed animals by the dozen on a whim, just like you. Wow. That's why you were disowned. They thought you were the second coming of your great-great-grandfather, and that you'd bring ruin to Nosato. No, Fujiyoshi. And now you're here nonchalantly making a mess of this life and death situation. You don't deserve a single vote. You say that, but do you have any of the will of the crow in you? You remain an outsider, belittle Fujiyoshi, ridicule Yasumizu, and you don't even do proper work. Even I can sometimes shut up for everyone's sake, you know? Oh, how I wanted him to shut up right now. Hassan.
Yes?
I'll vote for Uncle. Relax and start the vote.
Wait, is that really okay?
Shut up. You've spent all this time doing nothing but worry about what you think.
We are running out of time.
Let's start the vote.
Damn it. Damn it.
These were the results. Isako Mamiya, Kyunosuke Nosato, and Meiko voted for Haruaki Fuzashi, while Yoshitsugu Oribe, Haru Makishima, Rikako Uematsu, Chikamochi Kamoshida, and Haruaki Fuzashi voted for Kyunosuke Nosato. 5 against 3. It was more difficult than I'd expected, but it was decided that Kyunosuke Nosato would be hanged. Though he didn't struggle much, Kyunosuke muttered things under his breath the whole time. He was probably cursing me. How pathetic. I wanted to get this over with as soon as possible. I really did.
We don't want him biting Hassan or something, so I'll be the one pushing him down. Yay! You little...
Kamoshida, allow me.
Why make him happy?
Nosato, I am sorry things turned out this way.
You truly believe I am a wolf, I assume?
Yes, I would not hang a human.
Very well. You will eventually find out the truth and despair. Knowing what you will feel then makes me feel regret rather than anger. Oh, if only you were a wolf. Then I could have proudly died to keep you alive. With this, I will only be a shield that gives you a day or two more.
My apologies. If I could take in the corruption and all other poison, I would have done it long ago.
You really need to treasure your heart and body more. I am merely doing this out of I simply want to find meaning in my own death. Haruaki Fuzashi, hear this. Your misdeeds will become known whether you win or lose. However, find whatever semblance of pride a villain like you may have and stop doing things to make women cry.
Since this is the last time we'll talk, let me clear this up. There is nothing between me and Rikako.
Yes, indeed.
Also, as you are aware, I am not a wolf.
What a circus this has been. Don't you wolves have guns or something? The suffering from that would be over in an instant. Please do shoot me.
I'm willing to praise your excellent performance, but honestly, I've had enough.
I had enough looking at your face too.
Fine by me.
Just fucking go. You don't have to tell me like that.
May I?
Please back away, Rikako. But back away. I shall do this myself.
She backed off. Until the very end, he was so pitiful. No, so human. He jumped, fell, and with a pathetic sounding cry, stopped breathing. Everyone separated, as separately whispered, "Rise not," and left the graveyard. Things were going as always, until the moment.
He's right.
She said that,
I completely forgot. We said we'd search for the gun Serizawa used to kill herself.
Everyone froze.
I believe we should fear the worst, that the wolves took both the gun and the bullets. I do understand that it doesn't make complete sense to fear a gun that, for all we know, might not exist, but I believe we should check everyone's rooms.
I'm not sure if they would hide it somewhere so obvious. What do you think?
I think it's important to show that we're willing to search.
Let's do it.
Fine by me.
During the second feast, after Chiemi had died, we talked about where the gun may have went. But after we hanged the old wolf guy, everyone had forgotten about that. I was actually curious about it too. Honestly, if I had to guess, I'd say that Great Lord Shinai cleaned it up, just like he did with the wolf outfit. But it would be bad for us if Mochi or someone else got their hands on it. I'd gotten this far, I really didn't want to die to a goddamn gunshot right before the finish line. Yes, it's dangerous to just leave it. We should look through everyone's houses, whether they're alive or not.
It'll be in one of your rooms, won't it?
Just so you know, it's not clear whether a wolf actually took it. And if you ask me, you're not free of suspicion yourself.
Alright, sorry. Let's stop wasting time on that shit.
Good. We don't have that much time though.
Mochi, Yoshitsugu, and I should be enough to finish cleaning up Hashimoto's remains in time. You should give a look to all of them, even if it's brief. If it's not enough, we can look around more thoroughly tomorrow.
That is true. It will take time, after all.
Why not start with the men's places first?
Well, pervs. Don't mess around at a time like this, Kamoshida. I don't care. I ain't hiding anything.
I don't want to do that. You men can have the men's rooms. We'll check out the women's. It would be best to look around as a group given the situation, but that'll work for now. Very well. We will begin by looking at things left behind by the women.
Fine by me. We'll go then.
Yes, it pains me to have you do this yourselves, but please.
The cleanup was unexpectedly easy. Of course it was, we'd cut him up into smaller pieces to make it easy. After 4 trips of putting his remains on the door and carrying it to Saranaga, all of him was in there. We also threw in the bloody futon and the clothes we'd used to wipe. After we washed our hands, we were done, so we went to join the girls in searching for the gun. It rhymed. They were all in the dorm. Haru's room. Their faces were completely frozen. What had happened? After a moment, I realized. No way. A mistake. A mistake like this? Mamiya was holding a new dark flashlight.
It's really new. Foreign made. Well designed too. Must have cost around 5,000 yen. There's still batteries inside. They're also foreign and look like the ones that came with the flashlight. Why would anyone need this on nights when they have to shelter?
Isako Mamiya's face was soon warped by a look of victorious, decisive rage.
Why would a girl that barely gets any allowance have something like this?
I looked and noticed that Rikaku Uematsu's face was full of contempt and mercy.
Who bought this outside the village and gave it to her?
Haru Makishima's face was pale with fear, despair, and realization of her failure.
Haruaki Fuzashi, Haru Makishima, do you have any excuses?
I had to think. There had to be something. Haru's face might have said it all, but I had to be able to explain it and let us both get through this. There had to. Crap. All the lies I could think of would only let one of us survive. Me. Oh well. It would be pretty forced, but I had to turn the flashlight into a personal gift from me to her. She'd said she liked SF movies, and I happened to have 2 flashlights, so I gave her one. It completely ignored the foundation that stated that everyone else would know about this if we talked about it at night. But I could force this and make them believe. A few seconds passed. But I was still in the safe zone. That's a... Shut up! I blacked out for a moment and fell to the floor. A dull impact slammed into my face just now.
What are you doing?
Don't! Don't let this asshole talk! Of course I wasn't in the safe zone. The Feast of the Yomi Purge was a game of communication, but it didn't forbid violence. Some got the upper hand by communicating using only words, while those who couldn't would naturally try getting their point across through other means. I'd underestimated that fact. Yoshitsugu Oribe's violence quickly neutralized me. Head, back, arms, the leg still hurting from the sprain. Chair, sticks, he used whatever he could get his hands on and beat me senseless. I couldn't resist in any meaningful way. He was well trained and had the motivation, bloodlust, to go with the violence. It continued until Ikako brought a rope. My consciousness was faint, but I hadn't lost it yet. By the end, I just meekly begged for him to stop. I might have even cried, but I was shown no mercy. Before I knew it, it was dark. I seemed to be in the prefab. In the end, I didn't know what was what, so I'd probably lost consciousness. The wolf outfit was right next to me. Time for work, huh? I could move, somehow. A bit of wiggling around and I felt something fall off of me. The rope tied around me had been torn and undone. Moving around caused me pain so immense that I couldn't even moan anymore. Even thinking was a challenge. I couldn't do anything like this. The clothing was right there, but I couldn't wear it, get up, or walk. Oh. They'd beat me to a pulp to see whether someone would die with me like this. So there wasn't any need to remove limbs, huh? A good beating was more than enough to incapacitate a person for the night. They'd probably done the same to Haru. We were checkmated. Oh well. This was just a careless mistake. Those sorta happen. I just wouldn't give Haru the flashlight next time. She could have easily gotten this far without it.
That is wrong, villain.
I heard a voice right next to me. Fighting the pain, I turned to the source, and saw her wearing that weird outfit.
So you do not understand just how happy she was when you gave her that gift? Surely you know that women are animals who enjoy tribute. Without it, she would have still been treating you like a stranger.
Then, it was a hoarse voice. They must have hurt her throat. Then, next time I'll bring her something consumable, like some sweets.
It would do you no good. This is simply the natural result of drawing too much suspicion. A single hair from the filthy wolf hide would have resulted in the same outcome. Surely you know by now that humans are predictable creatures. I shall not call this fate, however. It is merely that similar circumstances prompt similar actions. Humans are more like machines than you would expect.
She had a point. A different situation would cause a different reaction, that was natural. On the other hand, a similar situation would cause similar reactions. Are you saying that my death here is inevitable?
Oh my. I have said nothing of your death, villain. Let us journey to the Misty Mountain. This will be our final tryst.
I took her hand and, strangely enough, managed to stand up. She got me in the wolf's clothing. Some water all over it, and the murderer was assembled. She then took me by the hand and led me to the darkness and mist. Why am I alive? Also, why is Haru okay?
Okay, she was beaten senseless. She simply didn't look as villainous as you. There is nothing more to it.
Good point. I acted the good guy and lied to them with every breath.
The only reason you and the girl are alive is because they were afraid that the corruption would take them if they killed you.
Who pointed that out?
The one who likes this girl.
Mochi, huh? He'd probably said that just to keep her alive a bit longer.
Now, who would you kill?
Yoshitsugu Oribe.
the crow.
If we let him live, he'd find out that Kyunosuke Nosoto was a human.
Good, good. Struggle. It suits a villain like yourself.
What a mean thing to say. Are humans that comical to you?
All beasts try to live proudly. To me, all of their attempts are worthy of affection.
Beasts, huh? Yeah, I really was an insane villain. A wolf. Then I would just struggle until the very end. I killed Yoshitsugu Oribe. I'd mustered some fighting spirit and hatred for what he'd done to me. A hit on the head, another one, another one. Once I was done, Haru applauded. That wasn't because I was doing the right thing from the perspective of the real story. The applause was directed at me as a person. It almost made me cry again. I'd been thrown into such an awful situation and become one of the worst human beings imaginable. Yet I still had someone who acknowledged and accepted me. I had God. I appreciated that she was here. I was lying on some grass, looking up at the milky darkness. Strangely enough, there were no beasts here in the graveyard near the hanging pine.
I see you overdid it, villain. Or should I call you Haruaki?
It had to be because of her. Villain is fine. Anyway, it all worked out. Tomorrow we'll reveal what we are. We'll then bring Meiko to our side and win this.
And what will you do once the mist has cleared?
I considered giving a vague response, but I knew it was pointless with her. I'll take Haru and leave this place.
What an interesting man you are.
Why?
Do you truly believe Great Lord Shinai would let you escape?
Great Lord Shinai, not the third god?
Oh yes, have you become so prideful that you underestimated that god?
No. I'm within the palm of Great Lord Shinai's hand. I thought I was an exception.
You have fallen and risen far too many times, I see. That is the only reason you believe that.
I make my own rules.
Oh yes, you did. Perhaps you will be able to do something about the snake's dogs.
That sounds like a pain. Still, I'll do it.
For this girl? Or perhaps for me?
Taking you both outside sounds like a good time.
You truly are a villain. You've left many a woman in tears, I assume. Oh, now this is something.
I wondered what she meant by that, but then I realized that I'd been had again. Telepathy was some messed up shit. That's an invasion of privacy, pervy god.
What an uncouth man you are. What are you planning to do tomorrow?
Haru and I would reveal we're the wolves, like Yasunaga had done the first time. Then we'd take Meiko to our side. Meiko's anger was probably the kind you'd direct at someone close to you. It was just a bit too strong. Like the real story said, she believed that wolves were good and humans were evil. It wasn't born out of Yasumizu's madness, but of childish purity. Thus, she assumed that Rikako and I were evil and felt betrayed. If I revealed that I was a wolf, she'd gladly join me, most likely. With that, we'd have free votes and wouldn't be lynchable anymore. There was the chance that it could turn physical then, but I'd just neutralized Yoshitsugu, the one most likely to do it. Our victory was certain. It doesn't sound all that certain.
That would not go well.
You know?
I do.
What should we do?
This.
I'd thought I'd gotten used to pain by now, but I was oh so wrong. Where'd she get that branch? I wanted to ask that, but I wasn't in a state to do it, for I was already lying defenseless on the grass. I felt my limp body get dragged. Another thing.
9.
This is fine. Okay, it was ein, not 9. This is fine. I heard her whisper that over and over again. The next morning, I woke up in a lot less pain. Though I couldn't even tell if I'd actually woken up. My consciousness was far too vague. Last night I'd gotten beat up so badly I couldn't even stand. None of my wounds were life-threatening, but that was why my body was sensitive to every injury, sending pain signals to my brain. I felt like I'd just recovered from paralysis. This was normal. The fact that I could walk around at night was the anomaly. My body had been bound once more. Had Great Lord Shinai actually tied me up again? Had he restored the torn ropes or something? No. It was tied differently and over a different spot. This was a different rope put on me sometime later. Also, the knot seemed kinda clumsy. It was Haru. She was using me for something.
Can you stand, Haruaki Fuzashi?
She'd entered like it was no big deal. They'd confiscated my key, apparently.
What?
Why? I couldn't force my voice into words.
It's fine, I'll just drag you.
She was curt with me. However, I could tell from her voice and actions that she was perplexed by something. She actually dragged me, still bound, down the hill and into the plaza, leaving me even more beat up. It was hard to get me up the steps to the hall, though. She kicked me in frustration and I somehow crawled up. Everyone was already there. Rikako Uematsu, Meiko, Shikamoshi Kamoshida, and...
I see you have arrived, city dwellers.
What? It was morning. And yet she was...
What? What's going on here?
She directed that shout at me, but it was clear who the source of her confusion was.
Why the wailing, city lady? Do not tell me that you do not know of the nature of this village.
Honey, you're weird.
Uematsu, can you explain? Haru Makishima has been in this state before.
What? Possessed by a wolf.
Huh? Yes, that would be me.
What?
Oh dear me. Yumi was so boring that I badgered father and mother to use the mist to rise back up again. But father was sent back soon after we began, and mother also returned. Well, it was an amusing diversion, humans, children of Great Lord Shinai. I am satisfied with all the killing I did. What is this? Is this what the wolves really are? The humans had killed the wolves. They rise again from Sarunaga to have their revenge.
I'm not talking about the story. The eccentricity. Yes, that's not what the feast is supposed to be, is it? It's just a serial killing, isn't it?
I might find this event surprising, but I do not find it especially outlandish.
Seriously? Kamoshida? I don't know. Ichan, wasn't she supposed to be cured?
Normally, yes, but possession by the wolf is too much, even for the spider. The bedroom woman servant stands no chance against Great Lord Shinai's prime guardian, the Lord of the Hunt.
I don't really get it, but was she gonna end up a wolf ever since she became like this all those years ago?
I do not know. All those years ago? Indeed. When I was hanged 8 years ago, as I journeyed back to Yomi, I found this girl wandering in the mist, and took her as my vessel. But then the mist retreated, and the feast ended with it. Thus, I waited for the next feast.
Lies.
What is it, city dweller? I cannot understand you if you speak so quietly.
Lies. You were no wolf. You weren't destined to get the wolf's blessing. You already knew the real story. You knew exactly what I wanted to say. Why was she tilting her head and smiling? No, I knew her intention.
Now. This feast had become quite lonely.
But I couldn't understand it.
So, why not hang me?
Why would she go this far? What do we do? What can we do?
When we found Haru Makishima, she was unbound. That had to be possible for the Okami. Even locks mean nothing to them after all.
Then why hasn't he moved? He's the one who said that Haru Makishima was a human and gave her the flashlight. He's supposed to be a wolf, right?
That is what you said, Mamiya.
How else do you explain it? Why did he have to lie?
Yoshitsugu Oribe attacked him before he could give his reason.
You didn't stop him either.
Yes, I will stop scolding you for what happened yesterday. However, no matter how disgraceful, you must right your own wrongs. Uzaishi, it must hurt, but please, tell us the truth.
I... not... wolf. Say it clearly. I'm not a wolf. I'm the snake. I'm the snake. I fell for Haru, so I lied. I was really conflicted. I wanted only Haru to win, so I got rid of the other wolves.
You found 2 wolves, gained trust as a snake while sheltering the last wolf. You wanted you and her to be the last survivors, even if it meant betraying the humans.
I nodded.
But the Haru Makishima you loved seems to be gone.
I have consumed her mind. I wanted to shed tears, because I actually felt like crying.
Lastly, why did you give that device to Haru Makishima?
She said she liked what it did, so I just gave it. I wanted to get closer to her. My chest hurt. My chest hurt like hell.
It created a ray of light in the evening mist. A curious diversion, city dweller.
I could easily lie. The pain in my chest was just from my wounds.
Did you hear that? Haruaki was a snake who gave gifts and betrayed humans out of affection. And Haru Makishima was the last wolf. We must vote.
Wait a minute. Is that even possible? That seems like a bad joke.
Haruaki Fuzaishi is not from Yasumizu. It would not be surprising if his affection came before his mission. Kamoshida.
Haru, are you sure you want this?
What do you mean?
Then I'll vote for Haru.
1 for the city dweller. 1 for Haru Makishima.
Kusayuki.
Fuzaishi, can you vote?
Fuck. I had to talk. I was the one who decided to be evil. I had to play the villain until the bitter end. No need to say it. The result won't change. Fuzaishi, sorry, but I won't apologize. I pity for you, but you're too much of a menace. 1 for Haru Makishima. That's 3 votes. He can't turn it around no matter who he votes for.
We must hang her.
Fuck.
Shinai's guardians are 1 snake, 2 monkey, 3 crow, 4 spider. I believe this is my final look at this place.
The funeral was different. The wolf was cheerful. With a spring in her step, she went to the front of the group as if she was excited for what would happen at the Hanging Pine. I was walking at the very end, supported by Rikako. Clearly, it was an act of repentance.
7. The corrupt Yomibito rise to oppose the mountain. 8. Death of the damned Yomibito is the mandate. What, must I sing alone? Ah.
Basically, everyone was uneasy. Of course they would be. They were dealing with an actual god. 1 soul per day, now to bind. The mists rise away again. Thus, Shinai-san's guardians are... I had to sing, even if I was the only one.
How pleasing.
That was the only kind of atonement I could make.
I have tied the rope.
Can I jump?
Okami, what is it, priestess of the spider? Why must you rise up every now and again? To punish the humans and the guardians? I see. So you are still afraid of that? How pitiable. How lovable. Oh, I think I might cry. I shall tell you. We rise up, because that is how we live.
Losing her words, Rikako bowed a little and backed away.
I believe this is it.
Everyone backed away.
You have endured this well.
She was just too incomprehensible.
Thus, the end has come.
And more than that, her back actually looked divine.
I shall excuse myself.
She took a step toward the cliff. Haru. Before I knew it, I was the one closest to her. My body and mind were so numb that I couldn't move forward or back. All I could do was call out to her. She'd stopped. I had nothing I could say. That was when the cloth on her face fell away.
You realized?
I knew it.
How uncool.
With that, she jumped toward me and kissed my ear. And just like that, she turned around and ran. No, I was the uncool one here. I'd half expected this to happen. I'd seen the signs, and yet I'd still let her do it. No, that was wrong too. She'd lived the way she wanted. Just like I'd asked, she'd ignored what others thought and gave both her mind and body to sacrifice the unparalleled vice. Was I supposed to be some sort of teacher warning her against it and setting her on the proper path? No. In the end, I was just regretful that I'd broken the rules I'd established. It should have been the other way around. It wasn't supposed to be me. She should have been the villain among villains who betrayed and sacrificed her comrade to live on. She was consumed by the mist. And that was that.